almost just fell out of my chair. Your phone is not muted, so that's always a good thing. Patrick Mahomes has not lost to the Denver Broncos. I am so fucking amped right now. I think this is going to be the first time. 2-11-6 and their first NFC North title since there's definitely been crazier. I want to say 96 or 93 was the last time the Lions won their division. The Detroit Lions on Thursday night beat the Kansas City Chiefs, who is throbbing cock. I'm feeling very good. I'm dreaming.
Oh, yo!
Pull thing.
Same thing that happened the last time.
Go dogs, baby!
Go Dogs! What's up, dog? Holy shit, everybody. What the fuck is up? I am thrilled right now. How, Zane, Holly, others, thank you for being here. Yeah, the bus is always a experience, Zane. It's always a 40-minute ride in what should be like a 10-minute ride. And today it was like 10 minutes late. So you get what you get. I guess it's what the sacrifice we make for... Is that your first time seeing that intro, Zane? I love it, man. It was so much fun to edit that. How we doing, guys? How we doing? It's been a week. And honestly, I don't know how many more live streams I'm going to be doing because I kind of want to start shifting my focus to these YouTube videos that I've been doing. Both of you know this. Maybe a couple of you others in here came from that video, but my reaction to the NFC Championship game currently has like 19,000 views, which is fucking insane. I had earlier this week, we hit 1,000 views on a video for the very first time, and I was hyped about that. And that was like 5 days after I uploaded that. And then after 1 day of the Niners Lions reaction, it's a nice video. I love it. But yeah, after 1 day, it had gotten to 1,000. Like, it had 200 views when I woke up. There's a screenshot of it on my story of it being at like 200 views. And I was happy with that. Before, today, I was like 300 views on a video. That is fantastic. Yeah, that's insane. And so we're on track to hit 20. We're on track to hit 20,000 views on that video. And before today, we did not hit the 100 subscriber goal, but we've fucking crushed it. It did, I guess. The vast majority of people watching this video are San Francisco 49ers fans. So, I was a little bit in between on who I'm rooting for in the Super Bowl, but because of them, I don't even care anymore. I'm rooting for the 49ers. Fuck the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go Niners, man. Zane, you're from the Bay Area. You used to be a Niners fan, so I'm sure you're rooting for the 49ers, but I'll hop on that bandwagon just for the, 19,000 people that decided to watch that video. They literally just watched that video to watch me cry, watch the heartbreak unfold. And, a lot of them, I don't know how many comments started with 49ers fan here, but there was a lot of them and they were all super nice. So I love them. I love them. Thank you. Cause I couldn't even imagine. We are currently sitting at 154 subscribers before earlier today. I had 98. So from the start of this year, I have more than doubled my subscriber count. So 2024 treating me right so far. I am more than excited, but that is enough about that. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's on my channel and I'll put an ad for it later in the stream. But today we are going to be doing something a little bit fun. It's just easy because I'm lazy right now. Yeah, let's just get into it. I'm going to be grading, or better yet, I'm going to be regrading the first round draft picks for the 2023 NFL draft. I had grades out afterwards, and I had some choice words for some of the picks that the Detroit Lions made, but that's besides the point. Now we have seen a full season go through. Now, of course, some of these players we have barely seen on the field at all. Others we have seen a lot, and we know exactly how they play. So let's just hop right into it. These are the first 8 picks of the 2023 NFL draft, and I gave them each a grade, as you can see on screen right now. And I'm just going to be running through it really quickly. Oh, man. I would like for my computer to stop crashing. All right, there we go. Anyway, so Bryce Young, first overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft, to nobody's surprise either. And obviously he did not have a good season. The Carolina Panthers got 2 wins the whole season, so nothing too crazy for the Panthers there. But you have to admit, Bryce Young, he didn't have a lot of help, and the Panthers did get their franchise guy. I'm not saying that I think Bryce Young will be bad his entire career. Obviously, he didn't have enough help. But at the same time, what's factoring into this decision of giving them a D for drafting Bryce Young is because they sold away their future to get Bryce Young, and now they don't have any future draft capital to build up this team and really give him the weapons that they deserve or that he needs to succeed, more or less. So that's why that's why that pick got a D, just because the Panthers failed. The Panthers failed in that department of getting actual good draft picks. Anyways, second overall, another player to nobody's surprise, CJ Stroud, quarterback from Ohio State. He eventually was a Pro Bowler, should have been a first ballot Pro Bowler, but that's okay. He is phenomenal. He is outstanding. He broke 3 NFL records. He has the most touchdowns in a game by a rookie quarterback, the most passing yards in a game by a rookie quarterback, and the longest streak of completed passes without throwing an interception in rookie quarterback history. So obviously Texans hit the money with that one. A+. There's no other grade you can give this team for that. A+ for the Houston Texans. Then they traded up with the Arizona Cardinals, and they got the 3rd overall pick and selected linebacker Will Anderson. I think he also played defensive end from Alabama. Will Anderson, by far considered the best defensive player in the draft, a defensive rookie of the year candidate. So now the Jets last season went with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, the 2 rookies of the year. I think the Texans this year are going to do the same thing with CJ Stroud and Will Anderson. Another A+. They traded up to get him, somehow managed to do that. Got 2 generational talents on their team right now. Good job to the Houston Texans so far. Perfect draft. A+ again. Colts, 4th overall, they drafted Anthony Richardson, quarterback from the University of Florida. A lot of people, including myself, were a little bit skeptical about this. A lot of people thought it would happen because the Colts were in need of a franchise quarterback. And, I think they went out there and they got it. Anthony Richardson didn't look awful while he was playing with the Colts. I think he's actually looked pretty promising. So I'll give them an A for that. They went out, got their franchise quarterback. He got hurt, so we really still don't know how good he is. But for now, I'll give Anthony Richardson an A. Moving on to 5th, the Seattle Seahawks took Devon Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois. He's one of the highest graded cornerbacks in the league, defensive rookie of the year candidate, and he's a Pro Bowler. So a lot there from Devon Witherspoon. I really wanted. This is one of the players I wish the Detroit Lions drafted. Obviously, the Seahawks took him before we could even get a chance to, but good pick for the Seahawks. A, nothing crazy there. Now we move on to a little bit of some murky water. 6th overall, the Arizona Cardinals drafted Paris Johnson Jr. Now, I will say before I get into these grades, there's not a single offensive tackle that I've seen get a good grade as a rookie this season. A lot of them ended up not being that great. And they're rookies, okay? So, it is what it is. That you can't guarantee that they'll be good their very first season. A lot goes into building these players up. But Paris Johnson Jr., for being drafted 6th overall, did not live up to those expectations. Not a very highly graded offensive tackle in the league. He is given a C because it did fill a position of need for the Arizona Cardinals. 7th overall, a player that I also wanted the Detroit Lions to draft, defensive end Tyree Wilson, dealt with a lot of injuries, but he really hasn't seen the field at all. And when he has not looked very good. Definitely not playing like the 7th overall pick in the NFL draft. Now, he has obviously more years to come to prove himself, but so far after this season, I have to give Tyree Wilson a D. Zane, this is your area of expertise I'm moving into. Bijan Robinson, running back for the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, not a very big position of need for the Atlanta Falcons, but nonetheless a very good player. B+. They didn't need him on the roster, and it showed this offseason this season where the Falcons' issues still weren't solved, and it doesn't help when Arthur Smith refuses to use the 8th overall pick in the draft. And considered by many a generational running back talent, but nonetheless, he is very good. B+ for Bijan Robinson and the Atlanta Falcons. Moving on to 9th, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle out of the University of Georgia, was drafted 9th overall by the Philadelphia Eagles. Zane, I know you wanted him on the Falcons. I wanted him on the Lions. Both teams passed on him. Whatever. He is one of the highest graded defensive tackles in the league. However, he's not played a lot of snaps, but I really think that works in the Eagles' favor because he gets to sit behind guys like Brandon Graham and other star defensive linemen on that team and really learn from them. And when those guys retire or go to different teams, yada, 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 Jalen Carter will be there for the Philadelphia Eagles to be making plays. So thank you. A+, especially considering where the Eagles got him. Jalen Carter was not supposed to fall this far in the draft. Many considered him the top prospect in the draft. He fell to 9th. Eagles snagged him after just making a Super Bowl, so that's a good pick. Sorry. 8th, the Chicago Bears selected Darnell Wright, offensive tackle out of the University of Tennessee. When the Lions played the Bears this season, this guy was selling for the Bears. He is a big reason why we came back and won with like 2 minutes left on the clock. I don't think he's really that good, and I think he was a little bit of a stretch drafting him this early. I think guys like the guy below him, Peter Skoronski, were graded much higher than Darnell Wright, and he really hasn't shown that he is a top 10 pick in the NFL. Really, none of these offensive tackles have, so yeah, yet another C. Peter Skoronski of the Tennessee Titans, he is playing offensive guard. He played offensive tackle in college. He's now an offensive guard on the Tennessee Titans. So I cut him a little bit of slack there, especially because the position switch, it's a different position. They're both offensive line positions, but it's a different position. But either way, Peter Skoronski, or at least the Tennessee Titans drafting him where they did, I think that's a good value pick considering how highly he was graded. But C+, again, not the highest grade in the league, but considering that he's playing a different position, I'll give the Tennessee Titans a C+ right there. All right, here is a little bit of an embarrassing part for me because I have a video on it like a year ago on my channel where I reacted to the NFL draft, and I was fuming when we drafted running back Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama. I thought this was a bad pick. We already had DeAndre Swift. Why would we be drafting a running back in the first round of the draft where our defense was abysmal the year before? It made no sense to me, but I can tell you, Brad Holmes cooked. Brad Holmes cooked. He cooked with this draft in general. 12th overall, Jahmyr Gibbs, that's an A+ for me. A little bit biased. I know it might have been a little bit of a reach, but we really don't know what was happening. Any of these teams could really have drafted a running back, but Jahmyr Gibbs, dare I say it, has been better than Bijan Robinson this season. He is a Pro Bowler this year and was almost the Super Bowler, or was almost playing in the Super Bowl, but he was, Jahmyr Gibbs was a fundamental part of the Lions offense this season, so A+ for that pick. 13th, the Green Bay Packers selected Lucas Van Ness, defensive end out of the University of Iowa. Really another guy that hasn't seen the field a lot. I've seen him make some big impact plays, but he's really, he hasn't fully developed yet. He's not a full-time starter on that team quite yet. So I'll put him at C. He's not that highly graded by Pro Football Focus, so I'll give them a C right there. 14th, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected Broderick Jones, offensive tackle out of the University of Georgia. And again, another like all these other offensive tackles, wasn't that great, wasn't that impressive. But then again, did fill a position of need for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So why not give them a C? Will McDonald for the New York Jets is another guy that didn't see the field a lot, but unlike a lot of these other guys, he was highly graded in this, or from this season. The few snaps he played, he did make an impact on the field, and he's sitting marinating behind Quincy Williams, all those guys on the New York Jets defensive line. He is going to turn into a great player on this team. The depth there is going to be insane. I think that's a good pick. A-, because, again, it wasn't really a position of need. I think the Jets really should have gone offensive line in this draft because, as you saw, again, besides Aaron Rodgers going down, offensive line depth was a huge issue on this team. 16th, the Washington Commanders, I forgot to put his position. Washington Commanders drafted Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback from the university, or from Mississippi State University. This one gets a D. Now, this is a pick that I was super impressed with when they got him. I was like, oh, this is a great pick by Washington. I think Emmanuel Forbes will turn out to be a great player. He really wasn't this season. He got benched a couple times, did not live up to expectations, did fill a position of need, but I think the guys that the Commanders had before, they still retained their starting jobs. Emmanuel Forbes didn't challenge them too much later into the season, and that Washington defense turned out to be abysmal. So D for Emmanuel Forbes. Sorry. Here we go. 17th through 23rd. 17th, the New England Patriots drafted cornerback Christian Gonzalez out of the University of Oregon. Many considered this guy to be a top 10 pick prior to the draft, and he was playing like one. Early in the season, he is one of the highest graded cornerbacks in the league. Unfortunately, got hurt in the beginning of the season, so we didn't really get to see him in full force, but considering where the Patriots drafted him and how good he was playing before he got hurt, I'll give the Patriots an A+ right here. This is another pick for the Detroit Lions that I was fuming about when we drafted him. Jack Campbell, linebacker out of the University of Iowa. Absolutely filled a need on that roster last season. Although Jack Campbell, out of the rookies that we have, people talk a lot about him. He wasn't that great instantly. He was very inconsistent. He started off the season very bad. It kind of picked it up a little bit. He had a good week 1. So there's glimpses of hope in Jack Campbell's ability to be a good football player, but he's not quite there yet. And I do think the Lions I thought the Lions reached for this pick when they made the pick. And I still think they reached when drafting Jack Campbell. They definitely could have done this in the second round or maybe later in the first. But yeah. 19th, Kalijah Cansey, defensive tackle out of Pitt. I was high on this guy coming into the draft. This guy was huge. I think potentially in the future, he can help out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line tremendously, but he did struggle this season. He had a few plays here and there, but really struggled against the run. At least so I've heard. I don't really know. I'm going to be honest. But yeah, also didn't play a lot of snaps. Also wasn't one of the highest graded defensive tackles in the league this season. So that's why Tampa Bay Buccaneers get a C for that one. Jackson Smith and Jigba, the first wide receiver off the board for the Seattle Seahawks. He started off the season not too hot, not a lot of touches for him, but as the season progressed, he got more and more looks from both Geno Smith and Drew Lock, including that game-winning touchdown against the Philadelphia Eagles. B+, I think he can turn into a very solid player. I think we didn't see a lot of touches from him just because of how good the receivers on the Seattle Seahawks already are. The Miami Dolphins, their pick got fourth fitted, so whatever. 21st, the Los Angeles Chargers. They drafted Quentin Johnson, wide receiver out of TCU. Originally, I had this as an F. Again, wasn't a huge position of need. I get the strategy of drafting offense to compete with Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs. But this man did not do a single thing the whole season. You know how many fantasy leagues I drafted this guy in, and he just completely screwed me? He never turned into a good player. Even when Mike Williams went down, he didn't step up into that role and become the wide receiver too. Not a good rookie season from Quentin Johnson. He gets a D. I was really tempted, though, to put this as an F. 22nd, however, Zay Flowers. Besides Puka Nacua, I think this guy might be the best wide receiver in this year's draft class. I know Rashee Rice was also very good. We should have known if somebody put up like highlights while playing for Boston College last season. We should have known that he was going to be very good. He was really good on the Ravens, and considering where the Ravens got him, I'll give them an A+ right there for drafting Zay Flowers. Similar situation with the Minnesota Vikings. They drafted Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC, 23rd overall in the draft. He's turning out to be a great wide receiver too. He started off the season very hot, kind of fell off towards the end, which is kind of odd because Justin Jefferson wasn't playing mid-season at all. But he's got a lot of learning to do, but as of right now, I'll say this is a good draft pick, an A for the Minnesota Vikings. Moving on to our last page. This is going to be a very short stream. I apologize for that. But my 2023 NFL draft regraded. Starting off at 24th, Deonte Banks, cornerback for the New York Giants. He had glimpses here and there. He could make plays, but also had glimpses of struggling. It's what comes with a rookie. C+. He was not one of the highest graded cornerbacks in the league, although early on he kind of was. I don't know. Jack's going to get mad at me, but from what I could tell, he wasn't that good of a cornerback, but best one on the New York Giants. I think he can be a good player down the road. That's why I'm giving him a C+ rather than a C. 25th, Dalton Kincaid, who is not a cornerback. I don't know why that says he is. He is a tight end out of the University of Utah. Again, not a position of need I would consider for the Buffalo Bills, but Dalton Kincaid was considered a huge playmaker, one of the best tight ends in this draft class. Before the regular season happened, he was considered the best tight end in this draft class. Really learning under Dawson Knox. He could prove to become a great weapon for Josh Allen down the road. A- for Buffalo Bills drafting Dalton Kincaid. 26th, the Dallas Cowboys drafted defensive tackle Mozzie Smith out of the University of Michigan. This is a guy that didn't get to see too much playing time, and when he did, he wasn't that good. Not one of the highest graded defensive tackles in the league. Yes, he is a rookie, so he has time to learn, but not a very impressive showing out of his rookie season. Did not live up to expectations. 27th, Anton Harrison, offensive tackle from the University of Oklahoma for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He turned into a starter this season. Wasn't that great. Again, wasn't one of the highest graded offensive tackles in the league. There weren't a lot of highly graded rookie offensive tackles, so I'm giving them a C. Did fill a position of need, but we still are yet to find out if he turns out to be a good pick or not. Miles Murphy, similar thing to a lot of these guys. Didn't see the field a lot, sitting behind Trey Hendrickson and other guys on that Bengals defensive line. But I mean, he was not one of the most highly graded defensive ends in the league, and again, didn't see a lot of playing time. So I'll give him a C. His numbers are slightly better than a lot of other people who weren't graded highly, but yeah, I'll give him a C. 29th, another Clemson guy, Brian Bresee, I don't know how to say it, defensive tackle from the New Orleans Saints. Again, didn't see a lot of playing time and wasn't that good when he was on the field, made a lot of mistakes. He is 29th. 30th, Nolan Smith, linebacker from the University of Georgia. I hate to say it as a student of the University of Georgia, but Nolan Smith did not do shit this season. He struggled with some injuries, last season especially, but I think as he's still recovering from that, but he did not see the field a lot for the Philadelphia Eagles. And 31st, I'm going to butcher this so much, Felix Anudike Uzoma, defensive end from Kansas State. Another guy that didn't see the field too much, and when he did, wasn't that impactful. Granted, he is a rookie, so a lot of these guys we are yet to see whether or not they become good picks or not. But that was my 2023 first-round NFL draft regraded. Thank you to everybody that watched this video, and thank you to everybody that has recently subscribed and is coming and finding my channel. We are at 554 subscribers, or no, not 500, 100. We're at 155 subscribers, and I am proud to announce that my reaction to the Lions versus 49ers is at 20,000 views. That is 20 times more than my last video. I don't even want to know how many times more that is than all my other videos combined. But obviously, if you're watching this and you stumbled upon my channel, thank you. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a professional, but I appreciate everything that you guys are doing to support me. You 49ers fans were all so very kind, and I thank you all for subscribing to my channel and watching me suffer. Please check out the rest of the videos. I just make shitty predictions and have shitty football takes. And with that being said, if no one has anything else to offer, I will see you all in the next one. Take care. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye. NFC Championship game. I'm just happy that the Lions made it this far, so I really don't care if we win or lose, although I really want to win. But I'll say Niners 31, Lions 17.